Everybody. I thought I'd do this video because a lot of you know, or most of you know, that I've been kind of traveling for the last 6 months doing a 10-part video series. And, but I've also been spending a lot of time reshaping what I've been doing for the last 6 years to kind of get things evolved into where I would like to go next. It's kind of like the next step, I guess. So I'm assuming you're either watching me on Wide Awake Productions Facebook page or Wide Awake Productions YouTube channel. And there was a reason why I chose the name Wide Awake Productions. And that's basically, at least in my own personal life, was, man, most of my life I have not been wide awake. If anything, I've been wide avoidance. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. Not because I wanted to, but because I didn't certainly have tools that would help me have the capacity to negotiate, navigate, what am I doing? And that appeared with inside of my body as a low chronic heaviness or low chronic anxiety. And I didn't even know what that was, other than I chronically had it. And it really put me in situations of not spending a lot of time looking at myself. So the idea about this particular video, I've been filming a whole bunch of mini series videos, plus the 10-part series on If I Should Die Before I Awake. And I haven't posted those yet because I've had to do a lot of reflection on where I'm going next and stuff. And I have to say, listen, this channel is about one thing, and it's about you. That's the bottom line. And as much as Wide Awake Production, some people kind of view it as a company. I'm not here for a company. I'm really here for a movement, because one day I shall not be here. And the idea about being able to live your one and only life, the more I can get you guys out there to be more solid with what it means to be actually a human being, especially under the situation that we're trying to negotiate and navigate in regards to Western culture that we live in. It's a pretty tough task to do. The drawback about it, unfortunately, is most of us will probably live our entire lives out of this heaviness and low chronic anxiety. The heaviness is more like a depression, actually. But we don't know that it's not normal, and that it's actually a symptom of something, and that's the incapacity about living in a freeing body, freeing thinking process, freeing feeling process, and freeing emotional process. So a lot of this stuff you're going to be viewing on this particular channel, or the YouTube channel, is going to really ask some tough questions for yourself. This channel is not for everybody, and I'm pretty sure that some people who used to follow me or have gone through my courses will probably not like some of the direction I'm going in regards to this channel. There's nothing I can do about that, and nor am I going to do anything about that. I'm going to be as real and solid as I possibly can, and if this channel is not for you, that is totally okay. I don't find most people are kind of really ready for taking a hard look at your life, and I certainly wasn't. So I can't expect people to just one day get an epiphany. Well, actually, I can't expect that to happen if you follow what I'm going to be trying to share with you on here and teach you. But the bottom line is most people are locked in, and they're locked into what's called belief systems or worldviews. And the drawback about that is most worldviews that we carry, or our belief system that we carry, aren't or is not our own. We think it's our own, and that makes contextual sense, because why wouldn't we? Well, the question is there symptoms that come with your worldview and symptoms that come with your belief system that are actually working against you? That's how you know it's not yours. And that's usually, and you've heard me say this if you've gone through the courses or watched some of my other videos, about if you have thoughts in your head with emotions attached that you feel internally of accusation, negative declaration, condemnation, judgment, and guilt, it's more than likely, that's how your brain's been operating, you're carrying somebody else's belief system. Now, what do I mean by somebody else's belief system? Well, you can get a variety of different styles of belief systems that we just pick up by osmosis, because 95% of everything that you picked up on this nougat of yours, you picked up subconsciously. And that's going to kind of suck, because here you're going to be trying to negotiate life with only 5% of it consciously available to you, meaning that you remember and you were present consciously for those experiences so that you have them as a resource. But you got 95% of your programming system within your mind trying to negotiate with you what's you should be doing. And you have this kind of two parts of your conscious availability or consciousness about yourself. And one is kind of the master, and the other is kind of the emissary. And they're always in cahoots with the, or it's kind of funny. They're kind of in cahoots with each other, but they're also in what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily disagreement. It feels like that sometimes when you're in certain states, but it's more about your brain's wired a specific way. Most of us aren't aware of how the brain is wired. And so when we're just your Joe Blow person, which is kind of what I do here, I'm not here to be the professional or academic, even though I'm trained in trauma and all this other kind of stuff. I'm really here to be in the gutters with the rest of you, because I think everyone's in the bloody gutter, or I call it the cosmic car wreck. And you have this battling in your head: should I stay, should I go, right, wrong, good, bad? And we have to kind of transcend that a bit and move to what's called learning. And when you watch a toddler growing and learning through play, what you'll see is they're actually having fun about it. They're not terrified by it. And most adults, including myself, when you are negotiating, like, are you living your one and only life? Well, man, I'm not living my one and only life. For most of my life, I've been living the act of what I think a Leon should be living like. But I don't own any of it. So part of this next transition you're going to be seeing is to really incorporate you with the process, with what I'm going to be doing, especially online stuff. And I'll be interviewing a variety of different people. That'll be the If I Should Die Before I Awake series of some people who've gone through some major things. And it's amazing. Some of you have heard me say this before. I'm just so amazed at this word we call crisis, and how much life is a crisis, or we get into these crises. But I'm absolutely stellarly surprised, including with my own life, how many times this so-called negative thing, this crisis thing, has turned out to be the blessing of all blessings for most of us. It never feels that way in the process of it, and that's kind of where it gets a little confusing, I think, for us. But anyways, so I hope you will follow along on here, you guys. I'd like you to send me some questions too. If you have some topics you want me to cover, just either email them. The email will be at the bottom here, or on the Facebook page. You can just message me on the Facebook page. Courses will be coming up again, but probably not till January. And I am seeing people. If you're interested in coming to see me, you can just contact me as well. But the biggest reason why I'm doing it this way is I really need to articulate all the information that I've got inside myself out of myself, and I want you to join me on that process. And I want you to and I want us to banter back and forth about some of the confusing topics and stuff. Now listen, there's going to be hundreds of you that are going to send me in questions. So I'm not going to be able to answer everybody's questions. But what I've also done is, in the last few months, is accumulated a lot of the main questions people ask me. So I'll start with those so that I don't have to say it 100 times to hundreds of you what the idea is behind certain things, like dysfunctional families, critical regulators, healthy regulators, how does one get split. I'll answer it on here, and it'll also be a bit of a resource for you guys who've gone through the courses to kind of remind yourself about what we were talking about. Remember, most of us are not solidly attached to our existence. Most of us are just floating through life, having our thinking in our heads kind of in this soup bowl thing activated all day long, these feelings in our body that we're usually reacting to, and these emotions of experiencing life that we're usually interpreting totally incorrectly. So we'll discuss that more as time goes on these videos. The Facebook page and the YouTube page will really start getting popping with videos on it. Feel free to share any of those videos if you know people who might benefit from the topics. Like I said, I'll try to make them specific topics, so if you know certain people are struggling with certain things, you can just shoot them off one of my videos. The key part for me, again, for this whole thing is I'm looking at doing a movement with you guys, which is, come on, if we don't show it as an example to other people, not tell them it, show them it, what it means to live your one and only life, they are not going to buy into that there's another way. And the only way we can do that, I know I use the word we can do that to help others, is by showing them what it takes for someone to live their one and only life. And it's not going to be a fun time all the time. And it's not good. We're not looking for happiness. What we're looking for is solidity within inside of our own existence. And what does that look like? It means that you have your conscious availability. In other words, I hear my thoughts in my head, I feel my thoughts in my body, and I emotionally experience. But I'm up here with what's called my conscious availability. Instead of being stuck in my brain, because you're not your brain, and thinking that I just think, and I feel, and I emotionally react. And it's a terrible way of not understanding that you are actually at the helm of your ship. But unfortunately, we carry other people's belief systems, which becomes these roadmaps that we try to negotiate, navigate life with. So I don't want to do that anymore. I don't intend to do that anymore. I don't want you guys to do that anymore. I want you guys to come solidly back to yourselves. I want you to be solid about the truth about yourself. If you're ever watching this video or something I'm discussing on this particular channel, where you think of somebody else saying, oh, this other person should have or should be listening to this right now, I want you to stop that thought at that time, and I want you think about what I'm talking about. Because there's so many people that like to take what I teach and go and try to change everybody with it. I don't want you to go out and change anybody with it. I want you to change yourself with it. Once you own it, then you have the capacity and the right, when somebody comes up to you and say, I really noticed a change in you lately, to share that information with them. We're not here to fix anybody. I am not here to fix anybody. We are here to believe in people because they have great worth. And you guys have great worth, and I have great worth. The problem was I lost it. Not my worth, but my sense of worth about myself. And out of that, I made some pretty worthless choices in my life. No wonder my life became very complicated. If I had a sense of deep worth about myself, I would have probably made more worthwhile choices, which would have probably uncomplicated my life. But I was outgunned this day I was born, coming into the planet, and so were you. But it doesn't mean it can't be negotiated and worked through. So that's what this channel's about. I hope you can stay on for the ride. I hope it helps out a lot of you. I know some of you will, because I've been online now for 2 years, I think, on another channel. And some of the stuff that comes in regards to people's thinking, I can't change anybody's thinking. I'm not here to change anybody's thinking. I hope you reflect on what we're going to talk about on this channel. And I hope you give me some good feedback. You guys have probably taught me more than what I can ever teach you, and that's honestly the truth. And you've given me the courage that I certainly didn't think I had to keep moving forward the way I need to move forward. Is life scary? You better believe it is. Is it stellar? 100% it is. Okay? So on that note, I'll look forward to starting the series coming up here fairly quick. Or the mini-series anyways, and the first of the If I Should Die Before I Wake series, which is about an hour long, that should be popping up here hopefully in the next little while as well. So again, feel free to share any of the videos that you like. If you want to join me on YouTube, you can subscribe to that channel, or you can befriend us on Facebook. Okay, thanks you guys. Take care of yourselves. Talk to you soon.